For you, Magnus, speaking of sacrifice, what does that look like to be
the exact same thing as
the greatest chess player of all time? What did you have to sacrifice to pursue that?
I never felt like I had to sacrifice too much, in the sense that I do also travel a lot for chess, so I guess that is the biggest sacrifice, like the time that I would get.
But see, this is one thing that I alluded to earlier as well, just to point out something for you guys. This is one thing I alluded to, like, for the perspective of where you grow up playing chess is very, very different. So, like, if you grow up playing chess in Europe, you're traveling within Europe. Europe, I mean, as a continent, of course, it's quite big, but if you're traveling within Europe, it's not that far. Like, if you go 2 hours to, say, Germany, or say 2 hours to, like, maybe 3 hours to, like, London or something, like, it is far, but it's not that far. Whereas, like, for Americans in chess, you almost have to go to Europe. So, like, the whole perspective of, like, traveling is so different depending on where you're from as far as chess goes. So different, so completely different.
To spend at home, but it's never felt that way. It's been something that I wanted to do. Also, over time, I've become like a little bit pickier with the tournaments that I play, so that I travel a bit less in periods where I don't necessarily want to do that too much. But I still felt like I've had time to be at home with friends, family, you know, to build lasting
Bring
bonds.
the Concord
so
back,
I feel like
yeah.
I've been really privileged and lucky overall.
You and I were watching Paul yesterday on the course, and we can see the details that he sees, or we don't see the details. He sees details we don't see. I want to ask you, when you are playing chess, what do you feel separates you at times in terms of the details you see from the other competitors that you face?
I guess it's sort of the same, that people have more or less the same tools to play, even though like you have certain techniques that you prefer. I think my decision making is a bit better, but why that is, I'm not completely sure. My evaluations are generally a bit better. That comes.
I can give you guys the plain answer, at least as I perceive this. I know we're on a slight delay, so the questions aren't at the exact same time. But if you were to ask me what Magnus is better at, he is better at decision making. But that's because he has this like intuitive sense or feel for pawn structures and endgames that other players don't have. Like, it's just something that he possesses that nobody else has. That's the first thing. The second thing, as far as evaluations go, as we've seen, and I've said this many times over the last couple of years, Magnus, when you see the heart rate monitors, Magnus is calmer than everybody else. Like, his heart rate is always lower than everybody else, even when the game gets tense, which means that just being a little bit calmer, a little bit less emotional, that also just helps him tremendously versus a lot of other players.
With experience, intuition, but I cannot tell like exactly what it is that I do like a little bit better. But I feel like I'm kind of decent at everything, and most people have like at least one phase of the game where they're not as good.